Okay, so this is part 2 of this bumper repair series. Let me show you what we're going to do today. Okay, we've got these 2 holes we're going to fix in this bumper cover. This one here is pretty straightforward. We're going to V this out, clean up both sides, get that repaired. And also at the same time, we'll do this here. And this has got a puncture all the way through, and it's actually cracked on the end. So we need to find the ends of those cracks, get those cleaned out so they can't go any farther. Let's take a look at the back side. We'll put some patching material on those, fill the back side and the front. So let me show you how I'm going to go about this. Okay, let's say this is a cross section of our bumper material. And we've got a crack running through it from a collision. And a lot of guys, they'll just grind this down a little bit for their repair, maybe put some repair material on the back with some mesh, and they leave that crack in there. Well, what's going to happen? That's going to come back eventually, and you'll see it through your painted surface. So this has to be completely removed. So we're going to grind this out of here, and you want to V this down. You want this top edge tapered so there's no sharp edge. And we're going to fill this whole thing in. And I'm going to show you how to do it in one step. We'll put a patch on the back side, and we'll fill this whole thing in, top to bottom, both sides nice and smooth in one step, instead of trying to patch the back, letting that dry, and then flipping over and doing the front. And I think it gives a little bit stronger repair. That material is solid from the top side all the way through the bottom, through the patch. And it'll save you a little bit of time too, because we're filling them both at once. You're not doing one side, waiting for it to dry, flipping it over, doing the other side. So let me show you how we're going to do that. On this puncture here, this crack goes through a little bit, so I'm just going to mark this so I make sure I get that all cut out. And the first thing I did with this bumper, I washed the back side of it, I washed the top side, get all the dirt, the grit, everything is cleaned out. And I don't want to DA this paint off of here until I do all my grinding and cleaning up, because I want to make sure that I can see all this crack, and it does show up better with the paint on there. If you sand it first and you get that sanding dust all in here, it's hard to see what you're doing. So I like to do all my prep work first, and then sanding the paint off will be last. I want to cut this out, get all these edges cleaned up. I want to make this a little bit bigger before I V this out. Okay, to start, I'm going to use my little reciprocating saw, and I'm going to cut this all out. All right, next I'm going to use my belt sander here, and I want to start cleaning all this out, get it V'd out. I'll do both of these holes. No matter what you're using to clean all this up, if it's a die grinder or a little roll-lock disc grinder, you want to use low speed on everything, because if you start heating this plastic up from a high-speed grinder, you'll see it'll kind of get oily looking. It'll get shiny. That's the oil that's in the rubber that you're bringing to the surface, and it's hard to get anything to stick to that. So low heat, not a lot of pressure. You want to keep it nice and cool. Let's get this cleaned up and we'll go on from there. Okay, let me flip it over, get the back side. You can see just running the sander at low speed, it wants to soften that up and kind of fill the holes in, but that's no big deal. I just want to get it flat, and we'll finish cleaning everything up, and then we'll take the DA with 80 grit and go over everything. Okay, next I'm going to take the DA with 80 grit. I'm going to get paint all cleaned off of here. I'll flip it over. I'll get the backside sanded. Okay, I'm going to clean both sides with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I like using rubbing alcohol for small stuff because it does dry up really quick. All right, on this repair I'm using 3M bumper repair material, and they recommend an adhesion promoter. So usually I use the spray and I don't have any. So actually I've got the bottle of the liquid. I'm just gonna wipe over it really fast. That's all we need. I'm gonna put a little on the back side. Okay, here's the thing about the adhesion promoter. If you think that some is good and more is better, well, it doesn't work that way. You just want to put a light coat on. If you're using a liquid, just a quick coat. If you're using a spray can, just a mist coat. If it's on too heavy, I don't know what it does, but I know you'd think that it would soften up the rubber and make the material stick to it easier. Your repair material can actually peel off easier if you've got too heavy of adhesion promoter on there. And the next thing is, let this sit for 15 minutes. And that doesn't mean take the heat gun and put it on there and get it hot and then put your material on there. Put your adhesion promoter on, look at the clock, minimum of 15 minutes. It could sit overnight, all day, it doesn't really matter, but a minimum of 15 minutes. Let that adhesion promoter do its job. Okay, on this job, I'm using 3M 4240, and they're not a sponsor. I had to buy this. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is put some masking tape over the front side here. Next, I'm going to put some of this repair mesh on the back side. And I just buy the stuff from the hardware store for drywall. That's all you need for something like this. Make the corners kind of rounded off. It's a lot easier to spread the material over it without catching the edge and peeling it up. Next, you want a heavy tape for this back side, and I've got this aluminum foil tape. It's for like furnace ductwork and stuff. And I'm going to have this ready. I want 2 pieces, 1 for each hole, and I'm going to have those ready to go because, like I said, I'm going to repair both sides at the same time, so I want this stuff ready so I can move quick. Okay, I'm ready to go. I got my tube in here. I want to run some through this tip. Make sure it's all mixed. Get some on both of these spots. Get that forced in there. Cover up the patch. And this is what the tape is for. It's actually a backing, so when I flip it over, it's got some support. Now I can do the top side. And after this cures up, it might need 1 more coat to smooth everything out. At least my main repair now is 1 continuous patch from top to bottom. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. What I like doing with these bumpers, if it's a nice sunny warm day, I like setting them out in the sun. It helps them cure. And I don't know if the UV does anything to this to help it set up. I don't have any information that really backs that up, but it seems like the UV helps to set this stuff up. But setting out in the sun, letting the whole thing get nice and warm and curing, and if I can let it sit overnight, even better. But I'm going to let this sit up and dry, and I'll get back on it later. We'll sand it down, see how it looks. Okay, I had this out in the sun for about an hour, and then actually it's been sitting all day. Let's see what the back side looks like. Okay, a nice repair on the back side. That's not going anywhere. I'm going to take my DA with some 80 grit and we'll sand this down, see how it looks. Okay, and then this could be skim coated again. There's a couple just little ripples in here, but for this video, I'm not worried about that. And that's how you can do a two-sided repair in one step. I think that works out better. It's a little bit stronger. The repair material is put on both sides at the same time, so you don't have any layering that can come apart. With the adhesion promoter, like I said, it's important. Let that stuff sit and dry at least 15 minutes, and there was absolutely no peeling. It feathered out real nice, so I'm happy with this. So I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.